Okay, real talk. How many of you have heard someone say, "It's fine, bacon's just protein"? Maybe you've even said it yourself. I know I have. And look, I get it. Bacon smells incredible, it tastes incredible. And when you're standing in your kitchen on a Sunday morning, the last thing you want is a biology lecture. But that one sentence, "It's just protein," might be one of the most misleading things we tell ourselves about food. Because bacon is a lot of things. But just protein? That's not even close to the full story. So today we're looking at what bacon actually does to your body. Not with fear-mongering, not with never eat anything fun again energy, but with real science, real studies, and an honest conversation. Let's get into it. What's actually in bacon? Before we talk about what bacon does, we need to understand what's actually in it. A standard 2-slice serving gives you around 9 to 10 grams of protein, yes, but it also gives you 7 to 8 grams of fat, roughly 370 milligrams of sodium, and 60 to 80 calories. None of those numbers alone are catastrophic. The issue is everything that comes with it. Bacon is a processed meat. That classification matters. In 2015, the World Health Organization classified processed meats, including bacon, as a Group 1 carcinogen. Before you panic, Group 1 doesn't mean this will definitely give you cancer. It means there is sufficient evidence. It can increase the risk of certain cancers, specifically colorectal cancer. The IRC reviewed over 800 studies to reach that conclusion. That's not one scientist with a grudge against your breakfast. That's 800 studies. Their analysis found that eating just 50 grams of processed meat per day, roughly 2 to 3 slices of bacon, is associated with an 18% increased relative risk of colorectal cancer. Your baseline lifetime risk sits around 4 to 5%, so that brings it to roughly 5 to 6%. Still worth knowing, still worth considering. Context matters, but so does the pattern. The sodium problem. Here's where bacon does more consistent day-to-day damage than most people realize. Sodium. 3 slices of bacon can contain 500 to 600 milligrams of sodium. The American Heart Association recommends no more than 2,300 milligrams per day, ideally closer to 500. So before you've had your eggs, your coffee, or your toast, you've already burned through a quarter to a third of your daily sodium budget. Why does that matter? Because high sodium is one of the most well-established drivers of hypertension. And hypertension is what doctors call the silent killer, because it has almost no symptoms until something goes seriously wrong. A meta-analysis published in the British Medical Journal found that reducing sodium intake by just 1 gram per day was associated with a 23% reduced risk of stroke and an 18% reduced risk of cardiovascular disease. 1 gram. That's a meaningful number. Globally, cardiovascular disease kills around 17.9 million people per year. It's the #1 cause of death on this planet. And high-sodium processed foods are a primary dietary contributor to that figure. So when we're talking about bacon and sodium, we're talking about one piece of a very serious, very large puzzle. Nitrates, nitrites, and what they actually are. Okay, nitrates and nitrites. Most people have heard of them, but don't actually understand what they do. Let's fix that. Sodium nitrate and sodium nitrite are preservatives added to most commercially produced bacon. They prevent bacterial growth, including the bacteria responsible for botulism, and give bacon its pink color and cured flavor. So they serve a real purpose. The problem is what happens inside your body. When nitrites react with amino acids in meat, especially at high cooking temperatures, they can form compounds called nitrosamines. Nitrosamines are known carcinogens. Research published in Cancer Research found a direct correlation between dietary nitrosamine intake and increased risk of colorectal, stomach, and pancreatic cancers. The cooking method matters too. Bacon cooked at very high heat until it's very crispy produces significantly more nitrosamines than bacon cooked more gently. You've probably seen uncured bacon in stores, labeled no added nitrates or nitrites. Here's the irony. Most of those products are cured with celery juice or celery powder, which is naturally very high in nitrates. The Journal of Food Protection found that some uncured products contained comparable nitrate levels to conventionally cured bacon, so that label can be more marketing than reality. By the way, if you're finding this genuinely useful, hit that like button right now. It helps more people find this kind of content, and it takes you literally half a second. Okay, back to it. Saturated fat and your heart. 2 to 3 slices of bacon can give you 3 to 5 grams of saturated fat. The American Heart Association recommends saturated fat. Make up no more than 5 to 6% of your daily calories. For a 2,000-calorie diet, that's around 11 to 13 grams. So again, before your day has really started, bacon has used up a significant portion of that budget. Now, the saturated fat debate has been genuinely contested in science over the last decade. A 2010 meta-analysis in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found no significant independent link between saturated fat and cardiovascular disease, which caused a massive conversation. But a more comprehensive 2020 meta-analysis in the Journal of the American College of Cardiology found that replacing saturated fat with polyunsaturated fat from fish, nuts, and olive oil was associated with a meaningful reduction in cardiovascular events. The current scientific consensus still recommends limiting saturated fat, not because it's uniquely evil, but because it consistently crowds out the better fats your body actually needs. What bacon does to your gut. This one almost never gets talked about, and it might be the most compelling argument of all. Your gut microbiome, the trillions of bacteria living in your digestive tract, influences your immune system, your mood, your metabolism, even your cognitive function. Research published in Nature found that high intake of red and processed meats was associated with reduced gut microbial diversity. Less diversity is linked to higher risks of inflammatory disease, obesity, type 2 diabetes, and depression. A 2022 Stanford study published in Cell showed just how quickly diet changes gut health. Within 10 weeks of dietary shifts, researchers saw significant differences in microbiome markers. Your gut is responsive, and processed meats can tip that balance in the wrong direction, faster than most people expect. So where does this leave us? I'm not here to tell you to never eat bacon again. That's not realistic, and honestly, it's not even necessary. What I am here to say is that it's just protein is doing you a disservice. Bacon is sodium. It's saturated fat. It's nitrates. It's a processed meat with documented associations with increased cancer risk. And eaten consistently, it shapes your blood pressure, your gut, your heart health, and your long-term risk profile in ways that go far beyond what the protein content suggests. When you have 800 studies pointing in the same direction, when global health organizations are drawing the same conclusions, when multiple independent meta-analyses keep arriving at similar findings, that's not a coincidence. That's a signal worth taking seriously. Enjoy your bacon. Just stop lying to yourself about what it is. Know what you're eating, know how often, and give your body the full picture, not just the part that sounds the most reassuring. That's not restriction. That's just self-respect. If this changed how you think about even one food decision this week, that's enough for me. Drop a comment below. Do you eat bacon regularly? Were you surprised by any of this? I'd genuinely love to know. And if you want more evidence-based, no-nonsense content about how food actually affects your body, real science, no trends, no fads, then subscribe. The button's right there. I'll see you in the next one.